Hello guys, welcome to another new video. In this video we're gonna review Nikon D5000. So this is how this camera looks like. You can see D5000 logo over here, and right now the lens that I'm having on this is 18-105 lens. This is not the 18-55mm. This is actually slightly better than that kit lens, and this lens actually used to come as a kit lens with the Nikon D5000 and D90 camera and even D7000 and 7200 camera. So this actually gives you a slightly longer range, and you can also get more autofocus background compared to your 18-55mm kit lens, because at 105 this is having the aperture of 5.6, so it is a very handy all-rounder lens. But I would be making another review video. That would be a separate video for this one. In this video we're gonna talk about this camera D5000, and we're gonna figure out whether it is still relevant in 2021 or 2022 and in near future. What kind of image quality we can get from this camera, what kind of video we can make with this camera, and we're gonna discuss the shortcomings, the good things about this camera and the bad things about this camera. First of all, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and press the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I post a new video. You're gonna enjoy the content on my channel because I keep on posting a lot of nice videos related to photography over here. So let's begin the video, guys. So this is how it looks like from the side, and from this side it looks like this, just like any typical Nikon camera. From the top it looks like this, and from the back, just like any other Nikon camera, it looks like this. Interestingly, this camera has a flip down screen. It is a fully articulating screen, so you can rotate it like this as well. You can rotate it sideways as well, but it would have been better actually, like if they had it like flip sideways, then it would be easier. Like when you are having this on a tripod, it would be easier to see yourself. Otherwise the tripod gonna block the screen, like when you have it on a tripod. But if you are holding it in your hand like this, you can still take some selfie. Still, it is still better than a fixed screen, but I would have preferred something that flips sideways. Anyways, let's talk about the technical specification for this camera. So this camera was launched back in 2009, so it's almost 12-year-old now, and it has a 12 megapixel sensor, and it's CMOS sensor, and this is a crop sensor camera. And if you talk about the ISO range for this camera, it's from 100 to 3200, and you can boost it till 6400. The ISO range is not that great, so this camera is not a very good choice for low light photography, but you can use it like if you have a prime lens or if you have an external speed light, then you can still take great images with this one. If you talk about the autofocus point, it has 9 autofocus point, and the screen on the back is 2.7 inch, and the resolution for this screen is 230,000 pixels actually. So like compared to the newer camera, like it is like 4 times lesser in resolution. If you talk about the weight for this camera, it's around 590 grams, so it is slightly heavy compared to D3000 series camera. And if you talk about the continuous shooting for this camera, it can shoot up to 4 frames per second. And if we talk about like the video aspect for this camera, so it can actually shoot HD video, that is 720p, and the length of the video can be only 5 minutes, so it's not a great choice if you want to record a long video. Let's say you want to record 10-15 minute video talking to the camera, then this is not a great choice because 5-minute clip is too less. Maybe 5 minutes would be good enough if you want to record a guitar cover or something, and the 720p is not good enough in 2020 either. And this camera doesn't have a microphone input as well, and it doesn't have any autofocus, continuous autofocus in the video. So if you want to start a video, so you have to first set the focus, you lock the focus, and then you start the video. Otherwise if you have started your video without any locking the focus, then you cannot actually change the focus in video unless and until you put it on manual mode or you use this focus ring to change the focus. then you can, of course, using the manual focus, you can shift the focus anywhere, wherever you want. One better thing about this camera, like compared to the newer camera, is like the flash power. The flash on this is actually much more powerful. It's almost as powerful as the one that we find in D7000. So the range of the flash is up to 17 meter, and the newer model D5100, that one has only 12 meters. So this one is slightly more powerful compared to that one. And if we talk about like the battery life is pretty good. If you have charged the battery once, then you can take around 500 shots with this one, which is a really good battery backup, guys. And it doesn't have any microphone port for video, so that is not something really good. If you talk about the dynamic range for the camera, it's around 12.5, which is not very less and not very high, so it is quite good. Like if you compare it with D3400 or like D7200, they are having a dynamic range of more than 14. And since this one also have a optical low pass filter, so the sharpness in the image would also be lesser. Like if you compare this with D3300 or D3400 or like D5300, those kind of cameras, guys. And if you talk about like the live view, it does feature a live view, so which is really handy, because if we have the live view, then what you can do is like you can use the older manual focus lenses, and then you can zoom in using the live view. I can just quickly show you. So in the live view you can see my face, but if you were, let's say, using a manual focus lens, then you can use this focus ring to you move the focus around just till the point when you get a very precise focus. So you can use this zoom, you can zoom the image all the way, and as when you get like a sharp focus, and then you know that okay, the photo or whatever I want to take, the video or whatever photo is perfectly in focus, and it is gonna be really sharp. So that is one advantage that we get with the live view. So it's good that it has, of course, the flip down screen is not that great, but still better than having a fixed screen. It also have a timeless photography, which is really rare for this camera, because this camera was launched so much back in 2009, 12-year-old camera, and still it has a timeless photography option. It also has exposure bracketing, so you can take multiple shots in different exposure, and later on you can combine them to form a HDR image. So that is really good, because these features you don't get in D3000 series of cameras, guys. So these were like some of the good things about this camera. Now I'm gonna talk about some more good things about this camera. So the good thing, one good thing about this camera is the price. So you can get this camera really cheaply in today's time. Like I have this 18104 5 lens, but if you are getting this with the 1855 mm lens, so I think you can get this in maybe like 120 or 130 US dollar, or max to max 150 US dollar, which is a really good price for this camera, because this still has a lot of new features that even the D3000 series camera doesn't have actually. And since it is a Nikon camera, you can pretty much use all lenses all the way from 1955. All the f-mount lenses would work flawlessly with this camera, no problem whatsoever. And the ergonomics on this camera is really nice. It has a really nice grip, and it feels really solid in your hand. It's not very lightweight, and it is also not that heavy. So it's a nice camera, like for photography as well, and it is pretty easy to use. So like if you have bought this camera, you won't find it so difficult to learn it and start using it. And the images that this camera can take are really quite good. I'm gonna put the photos that I've taken with this camera on the screen, so you can actually see for yourself what kind of image this camera can take. And personally, I really like the photos, even though they are 12 megapixel, but 12 megapixel are not that less if you have like a decent lighting condition, like if you are shooting in the daytime or even in the evening just before the sun is setting, you can take great image. Or if you are shooting indoor, you have enough lighting in your room, or if you are using external lighting or like external speed light, or you can also use a prime lens because it has a bigger aperture, it can let in more light in the inside the camera, so you can get some really nice images even with this 12 megapixel 12-year-old camera. Because 12 megapixel I think is like the sweet spot for me. Like personally, like if I need a full frame camera which also can do video, I would love 12 megapixel, because I don't like 24 megapixel because I don't crop so much on the photos. For me 12 megapixel are more than enough, because if you are posting your photos to social media, Instagram, Facebook, they're gonna anyway diminish the resolution to 2 megapixels. So 12 megapixels still like super high compare for social media as well. And I really like 12 megapixel. The file sizes don't take so much size on your computer, and you can easily work around with them. And I love the image quality out of this camera, and you have also seen while I'm talking the photos that I've taken with this camera, and I think they look great. Now talking about the video with this camera, I already talked about the video aspect. This is not a camera that is good for video, because it can make only like 5-minute video, and it doesn't have like autofocus in the video mode as well. It doesn't have the microphone input as well. So this is not something you should look forward to for making video. If you want to make some video for YouTube, I think then in that case you should maybe go for a D3100, because that camera can at least record full HD videos. But that camera also lacks some of the features that this camera has, like the exposure bracketing, time lapse, and some more features as well. Hello guys, now the audio that you are listening is directly from the camera, and right now I am at 18 mm. So I will slowly zoom and try to go close to this tree that you see in the picture. So now I am at 105. So at 105 you can see how close I can go. I will try to focus on I will try to show that yellow thing in the video so that you can see the field of view. So now I'm slowly going back to 18. So at 18 you can hardly see that yellow thing, and now that yellow thing is pretty much visible, and you can go really close to the subject using this lens. Now we can see what kind of background blur we can get with this lens as well. So right now I'm focused on this pillar, and you can see I'm at 105 focal length, and the background blur is totally really nice. The background is totally out of focus. So if you are shooting at 105 at f5.6 aperture, you're gonna get really good background blur. So if I move this focal length back to 55, so now I am at 55. So this is the kind of background blur that you get with 1855 kit lens. So not that great. So compared to 1855, this is what you will get at 55 f5.6. And now I go to 105. So you can see the difference, how much background blur you can get. So you can actually use this to blow up the background and get some decent portrait shots as well, guys. And at 18, this is what you see. So not any background blur at all actually. So like if I talk about the negative things, so video aspect is one thing, and this flip down screen, I didn't like that. It is not a great screen. And also like the ISO range on this camera is not that great, so it is not very suitable for low light photography. So 100 to 3200 is the max that it can go. And yeah, of course you can boost it up to 6400, but more than 1600 the image quality really starts to suffer a lot, guys. But like for it is still like a decent camera if you get it in like $130 or less than $150, because it can still take great images. So now the final question: should you get this camera in 2021? Whether it can still hold up and be relevant in 2021? Can it still take good image? Yes, it can take great images if you combine it with, let's say, Nikon 50mm f1.8 lens or 35mm f1.8 lens. You can take really nice portrait photos and very sharp images and very professional photos. and that too in low light as well, because those prime lenses are really good in the low light situations as well. And even with a kit lens like this 18 to 105, this actual kit lens is actually very sharp. You can take great images in daylight situations as well, and it is, I think, quite ideal for traveling as well. And since this costs so less, if you are like a beginner photographer, you want to just get into DSLR photography, you can actually look for this camera and just start for photographing. You can photograph your friends, and you can even do professional work with this camera, but only for photography. But if you are also into video, you should not buy this camera. Maybe you should go for D3300 or D3200 or D3100. At least they have better video aspects compared to this camera. This is not good for video, but if you are only for photography, you want to do hobby photography, then definitely you can look for this camera at a very bargain price. Okay guys, I hope you liked the video. If you have like any question about this camera, you can leave a comment over here, or you can follow me on Instagram. You can see my ID at the corner over here. You can follow me there and directly reach out to me there. I always reply to each and every one of you. And please do subscribe to my channel, because I need your support. With your support I can grow and I can start making some money as well from my channel. And press the bell icon so that you always get notified whenever I post a new video. And stay tuned, and I will see you in the next video guys.